meant to start recording this too, so I got that. All right, we all good?
I think so.
Yeah, good.
Nah.
We're Gucci.
So when do I swap to Widow, or don't I?
Swap to Widow about this Thursday.
They have a Genji. Genji will be good.
I just went blind.
Okay, okay.
So we're still dipping left, right?
Yep.
Dip. If you get Doritos in Cool Ranch.
Okay, follow me.
Onward.
Left.
Hold up.
She should just be able to put her. You got to put your volume up because it starts too low. If you don't already have visor, I can hear it.
Make sure you don't have Scuff Team. Hey man, we're working through this. On an unrelated note, how's everyone's day going?
Pretty good.
Shitty.
You alright, bud?
I turned 19 today.
Happened.
Congrats.
Thanks.
I wasn't being rude when I said congrats. I meant it. This is just how I sound right now.
Sure,
It's
everything's
been
alright there, bud.
Yeah, I'm good.
That I can't hear through who? Someone's like talking and I can't hear them. Give me a second.
See you. Hello.
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 Alright,
Hello, person that did not Steve.
Hear a burger. What the fuck?
alright, Elysian.
What?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh. Can you
Yeah,
add
burger forever use.
Elysian to the group call?
Hey.
Hello.
Oh.
Cool. Alright. Let me go back like 5 seconds.
If you get Doritos in
Can you all hear this?
Okay, follow me.
Mhm. Onward. Yeah.
You good, Cater?
I got.
Alright, cool.
That's a good fight.
He's up. We're fighting already.
Sorry, don't forget it.
Alright. So, Freddy, real quick. Talk me through this. What happened here?
So we had switched up to what, the gladiators thing, but
We
I
were
forgot
kind of
that we were still
looking,
going
yeah.
left. Yeah, forgot we were still going left.
Right now you're
To
still
the-
going left to the hotel. Okay.
We're supposed to, and I forgot to.
Why are you here?
Well, I just told you I forgot.
Alright.
We switched up the things. I guess in my mind I just told myself, oh yeah, we're switched up. We're going that way. But everybody's still going to the hotel, so I didn't really confirm that.
Alright.
So I think that kind of goes back to what I was saying, right? So like, point A, because you guys didn't actually decide on a plan. Right, if you're doing gladiators, Cater be on Hanzo doesn't actually do anything for gladiators because she's still leaving spawn now on Hanzo. Doing like the trick play anymore. So again, it's like there's confusion, right? And you can kind of see what happens right here where the team isn't exactly clear on where you're meant to go and what you're supposed to do. And so everyone gets a little bit split up. And then Freddy ends up side for a little bit.
Alright.
Second.
Genji straight in.
So right there, Cater gets the opening pick. And you guys push in, which is kind of good. I mean, she gets the push in. You guys are immediately just kind of running to point here, which is good. You're engaging in this fight. It's a positive start.
Roll it out.
Back around, back around.
Nice.
Run tap.
Genji.
He already has shattered. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
okay then.
Yeah, that kind of caught me off guard there. Alright,
Yeah.
regroup. We have spawn.
Got everybody out there, including me.
Back out.
So, now I want to ask you all this question. Why do you think he built up Shatter so fast?
W mouse 1.
Kinda.
Who's cleaving in
In the beginning, if I remember correctly, he in the beginning he had a pretty decent fire strike on a lot of our members, so that could have built him up a lot of early ult charge. And then he was also he
Yeah,
wasn't.
when we were walking out the door, he had a fire strike on us.
Hey, he had
Yeah, right over
two
here.
such
Right here,
fire
right here.
strikes on you.
We're fighting hard.
Just literally, I'm not sure, but he had a bunch of fire strikes early, and he wasn't really playing shield.
Go through Hanzo, go through Hanzo.
Yeah. So he hit 2 fire strikes, which hit multiple members, and then unfortunately Tex gets caught in that charge, which is like 25% right there. So he hits 2 multiple hit fire strikes, gets that lucky charge on Teagues, and then he just gets shattered. This one's kind of on you, Burger. Like, fire strikes are easy eats, you know?
Yeah. I think I ate one of them, but
Yeah,
obviously.
you ate the second one, but the first and the third ones were the ones that like super contributed to him getting ult charge. And it's kind of weird to like notice because like you think he's swinging, but really he doesn't hit a lot of hammer strikes, right? Like that last one that he hits like cleaves 2 of you, and that's what ends up giving him like actual ult. But he's not really cleaving you guys all that much.
Also, the other thing is like, so if he's in range to cleave all of you, then that means you're in range to cleave all of them, right? So like if you M1, then Freddy should be a lot closer to Shatter, right? Because you're
Yeah.
then like actually just brawling on the point, which isn't what happened. And also, do you mind taking it back just a little bit? Where are you at? I don't think I remember. Okay, right here. So, Burger, I'm gonna pick on you for a sec.
Do
See,
it.
like here you are. Pause it. All right, here you are. Did you just see yourself just boost across the left side of the screen onto the point?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is kind of pure luck, right? Because it's a really good pick on the Hanzo, but if she misses this shot and get him, you know what he's gonna do while your team is fighting on the point?
Just poke.
You've got 3 fat tank bodies on the point, and he has free range to shoot you all in the back.
And it's a Hanzo. That's not poke damage. That's legit damage.
That's really dangerous damage. And you know who on your team has the ability to go contest him
I do.
where he's standing? Oh, that's one thing. If you're gonna play this type of triple tank comp,
Or even like any multi-tank setup, really. Because most of the time, multi-tank doesn't have that reach outside of D.Va.
so D.Va and Winston are the 2 tanks that are gonna need to pay attention to anything that's on the high ground, and it is your responsibility. So like, and this is another thing that we can go over, right? Where your responsibility is to contest them. It doesn't mean you have to kill him. It doesn't mean like heck. It means make him not shoot at your team so that you're buying time for your front line to win the fight somewhere else.
Got it.
Yeah. I mean, like, you think D.Va is like really good at killing things, and she is. But at the end of the day, she's also a tank. She's good at absorbing damage, and she's good at zoning people out of positions where they need to be. Especially DPSs that are kind of playing solo by themselves. D.Va's just a really good deterrent, and pushing people away from the fight helps take people out of the main fight that's happening. You're taking much more damage out of the fight than you leaving is, you know? Just gotta put it that way.
Yeah, but fortunately, Cater, so he's gone. And now there's this Genji behind you. You don't really have to worry about him. So here, can you pause again for a second? Realistically, right, if you, before this happens, before Tegs dies, realistically, you guys are 1-up, and you should win this fight. Look at what their comp is. All they have for damage now is a Genji, they have their 2 tanks, and then they have 2 completely immobile supports. And you know what you got, like, looking at your comp, what do you have over them?
Ryan, Hunt, Storm
Mobility.
Arrow, and yeah.
How does that mobility work? Walk me through it. Have done differently that might have changed the outcome of this fight and enabled you guys to take advantage of this early pick. Okay, cool pop over there giving away the
Don't
answers.
draw an arrow. I don't like that.
We're not with questions and answers. Just tell us.
Like,
The reason
away
we're,
from my teacher moment over here.
I mean, the reason we're questioning and answering you is because we want to know your thought processes through this, and we kind of need to like break down what we need to teach you exactly.
I think that it's a lot easier to see from third person, right? And I think like looking at it, again, like what would you guys do differently?
We're probably gonna rush the
Run
rush
straight on the
support.
supports, yeah.
So okay, pause again. Zen over there, right side.
Pretty much the entire fight. Even after we had
Is there-
won the fight, usually he was still there, and we managed to clean him off because he was just back there the entire time.
So the only I will tell you between this fight and pretty much all the fights that you guys have on point, the only person who ever even bothers to go contest the Zen is Diva, so Burger. So good job, Burger. But unfortunately, you know what else you guys could have done?
Everyone
complete-
follows me.
He's completely isolated from his entire team. This is actually like trash tier positioning from his Zenyatta. Like this is extremely easy for you guys to punish, and the way that you do that is kind of like what we were saying earlier, right? So using early pick on their key source of damage, right? So as soon as you see that, so you're basically playing goats, except instead of Brig, you're running a Hanzo, right? But otherwise, effectively, you're running goats. So sources that your team has, you should think about it in the same way, right? So like as soon as you see that first pick, look for the targets that you want to rush. So the easy one here is obviously Reinhardt, and then Zen would be another good one. Ana would also be a good one, but then you have to deal with their tanks first. So if you just like call for speed into the Rein and every single person just focus the Reinhardt, right? Because like you're up on damage, and they don't have mobility to get him away from you, and they can't out heal that. So that's one thing to be really cognizant of, because like if you guys had rushed him, he gets a shatter, right? If he doesn't get the shatter, then you guys win this fight and you take point A immediately. Does that make sense?
Like these first fights that we're going through on the first point, all of these were completely winnable right from the get-go. And something, this is going to be like a longer, well, this is going to be like a bigger term message for all of you, but something I kind of want you to realize about this frontline battle. So like the Rein Zarya versus the Rein Zarya, right? Like Freddy, Teagues, you guys get destroyed by the Rein Zarya. Do you know why?
Because Freddy was playing too far up, and we didn't follow him up.
Kind of. It's pretty close to the reason. But
Because like we didn't, because like Freddy went down main, and the rest of us went through hotel, and
Y'all didn't
Freddy
have,
was
like,
by
one-
himself.
I'm talking about over multiple fights. This is going to be a reoccurring theme.
We're not following up with Freddy's aggression.
Sort of. They're more than willing to invest resources, heals, bubbles into the Rein and let the Rein do a bunch of damage. It's something
Yep.
it's something you guys kind of need to be aware of too. Like you guys really need to like, and we need to kind of teach Freddy too how to like realize where he is in relation to you guys and make it easier for you to invest resources into him. But your front line just gets run over because their Rein has more like healing sticks up his ass than Freddy does. That way he
Well,
gets.
and also, yeah, and also the other thing is something to realize too, right? Is that so you guys are running Lucio Moira. The advantage that you have is massive AoE healing, right? You have speed and mobility and huge AoE heals, right? So the other team, what they have is they have a Zen with Discord, which is amazing in like the tank v tank, because so one thing that you guys need to realize is that Freddy is going to be discorded, like probably. He's huge. He's in front. He's what needs to die first to shut you guys down. So it's on him. And because of the way that their healers are positioned, like you remember how Ana is inside like the gate archway and Zen is inside the hotel. So their healers have set up this like perfect crossfire so that no matter which direction Freddy is shielding, someone's going to be able to shoot him in the back. Right? And he's discorded and he has to deal with the front line. So he's got a lot more incoming damage on him than their tanks do because you guys aren't really like you're not on high ground or anything. Like you're just coming at them from the front, right? So like their shield, they can just shield your entire team. Freddy can only shield part of the team. And that's where for the off tanks, it's like it's really up to you guys to like be cognizant of that and help remove that pressure from him in whatever way you can. So like there's a couple of ways. So one thing is like I mentioned earlier, like maybe Burger goes and pushes Zen a little bit, maybe Moon goes with him and kills him because Zen is like the easiest kill in the world for any hero with better mobility. Maybe it's everyone calling to rush the other Rhine down with speed boost. So like you need to think about where you guys have the advantage and really like hammer that home. And the one thing that will stop you in tracks is anti-nade, right? So like that's something that Burger and Tegs need to be aware of is that anti-nade is going to be a problem and it's going to shut your push down.
Yeah, either through defense
call
matrix
out
eating.
nades.
You should be preventing them either through eating them or like if you do get hit, like Zarya bubble cleanses anti-nade, you know.
It's kind of like
Yeah,
if you,
black on my
if you
shields
think,
and all that.
yeah, and if you don't see nade come in, so like for bubbling, if I'm on Zarya is like I'll kind of try to see if I can bait it out before I really really need to bubble someone or they die, because like the cleanse on the anti-nade is sometimes what saves the fight.
Yeah.
Is completely what just like saves it. So it can be really important to kind of like hold pieces of your kit back for things that can critically damage your like ability to like win.
And like that's a thing you can do, like both you, Burger, and Tegs, because you're both are gonna probably play around with Zarya a little bit, is learning like to generate charge off of like personal bubbles, and then kind of saving team bubble for such events.
Mm-hmm.
But like at the end of the day, like Bubble's kind of first priority is allowing you to advance and take a more aggressive positioning, both for either Ryan or whichever character is actually engaging the fight, and for yourself to follow up.
Much or no?
So this is kind of gonna go to when we decide to like help you guys with a hierarchy of comms and things like that. But information gathering between fights, what changes here?
The first thing that I noticed is they swapped to a Reaper now instead of the Hanzo.
Hey, look at that.
That's the really big thing.
Hello. Oh,
Actually, that might be the only change. But
Hello.
what's going on here?
Hey, friend. Have a seat. Grab some popcorn.
Or peanut butter M&Ms like I have.
of course.
Cool. Alright. So yeah, you hit the nail on the head. They switched to Reaper. Were any of you aware of this?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, as we noticed him up top for a while. After we capped, that's when we started noticing him.
What's a button you can press to find that out?
Tab.
Hey. You guys should be tabbing between fights.
Between fights, if you die, definitely tab because you have 10 seconds of downtime anyway. Make sure you're passing that information on to your team. And definitely between fights, everyone tab.
Yep. Between
It's
fights,
changed.
tabs, just to see, like... You can use, like, someone being on fire to kind of gauge, like, oh, they've been doing things well. Maybe they're building ult charge kind of quickly. That way you can check for, like, switches as well.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, right? So it's like they swapped to Reaper because they're thinking like, well, they're running triple tank, so what's going to counter that? A Reaper.
Yeah.
So
And then if
right,
if you tab too, you can see like who's on fire. It's the Zarya, who is actually close to Grav, and the Zen, who's close to Trance.
and I mean obviously the Ryan, but he's already used his ult, so you know that he doesn't have another shatter just yet. But yeah, so the important thing with noticing the Reaper pick here is that because you are running triple tank, you can still run triple tank into this Reaper on this map, right? Like, and you guys do for quite a while and do pretty well. But we're like, all right, now we got to worry about this additional threat that's going to be trying to like flank around and do sneaky Reaper things. And really the person on your team, or okay, not the person, but the people on your team who need to be most aware of it. Obviously your supports, because they're still going to be the primary targets. Burger, because he's the one with Matrix, which is really the only thing that really counters like huge parts of Reaper's kit and also his ultimate. And then Cater, obviously on DPS, who's like most able to take him out.
Yeah. Not to say that like Zarya bubbles aren't like effective, but like Reaper can just burst down and blow up bubbles, right? So like you maybe get like 1 or 2 shots, and then
So you can buy some time, but also what the key part of what should change is that you guys need to play a lot more carefully, because you need to know where he is at all times so that you guys know how to position around him. And this actually, the next fight I think is actually like example of where not knowing where Reaper is like really messes you up and loses you the fight almost immediately.
With this much, it might be worth it to just save it for now, use it and then swap afterwards.
Okay.
Boy.
Alright.
so I kind of like how we're making plans here. There's an attempt at making plans.
We're doing.
Bubbling, bubble.
Sorry.
There.
Feeling
All right. So what happened there?
I did that thing where I fucking hide behind a wall and forget that people need to see me.
Well, not only that, but no one followed up with you either. Like there's a significant gap between where you are and where the rest of your team is. Not only that,
Alright, just got my coalescence.
Alright, just dip flash immediately. We're doing.
Bubbling, bubble.
you have your shield up. What the hell's behind you here?
Hi.
What's up, buddy?
That's a Reaper.
That's a Reaper
Yeah,
getting
for it.
free damage at your back while you have barely any line of sight to your healers.
And also, can you circle Elysian in the bottom left corner?
Woo!
So your Lucio is desperately trying to speed the rest of the team to you, and look at how far ahead you are.
Yeah. This is what,
Especially, I think if you're going to play with the Lucio, you need to be with him. He needs to be with you, but you also need to be with him. And that means if you're charging ahead of the team to get there first, you're too far ahead, probably.
yeah. Like, most of these Ryan Zarya comps, especially when you have, like, AoE healing, like a Moira and a Lucio, they thrive on staying together. It's called Death Ball. A ball of people. A ball of death.
And then what you do is you're essentially a huge ass battering ram, and then you run your faces into this Rhine, and then the Rhine dies, and that's how you win.
Yeah. But
Fight
instead,
needs to go.
you go a little bit far ahead, the Reaper gets to blow up bubble, and he just takes you out.
Run one.
Everyone's allowed.
Actually, can you go back again?
Woo, 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 woo.
Yeah, okay. Pause.
Yep.
So here's their Rhine. Where's their Anna? Do you see her?
On point.
No.
Right? She's still back on the other side of the hotel. The most she can do is shoot through this door right here.
She is
Oh,
literally coming from spawn still.
So this
She's
is
not even
exactly
there.
what I mean. So this is exactly what I mean, right? So if Freddy is a little more patient, waits for the team to catch up with him, this Rhine, like everything here from this Reaper to the Genji, so all the Rhine has is Zen's line of sight up there, which is a terrible position, by the way, considering that you're running a sniper. Like, he should die immediately. So that's one thing. But that aside, so his team is also not completely with him, but you're pushing them into each other. So he has that, like, advantage. No line of sight to his healer either, outside of Zen, which Harmony's not going to do shit,
Yeah.
right?
Like we literally
All
picked on you guys for this, but they made the exact same mistake.
Well, the thing is, like, they were able to punish Freddy because he got a little bit ahead of himself. But, like, just imagine if all 6 of you barreled through this door together, shoved this Rhine even further away from his team. Like, if you shove him right, for instance, he has no line of sight to... He just dies. Right? And then... And you do it to the rest of their team because they're not with their Anna, and their Zen is...
There's then is like
Okay,
up
whatever.
here being like useless because he can't see you guys through statue. he can like try to poke like towards down here, but like hopefully you guys are like looping around.
Basically, you either force him to drop and try to be aggro like in an even worse position where then you just run over him. Or I mean, you know, he's forced to stay in this corner where he can't do anything. So that's another piece where like we talked a lot, right, about like scouting and things like that, knowing where things are, and how that's really important in terms of engagement and planning a fight. Like an example, again, like Wolpup said earlier, like you guys could have won this. They're not positioned well. But because you're like a bit too impatient and you're not completely together, you're not able to take advantage of like, and you can see like, so the Zarya has already bubbled Rein here. As soon as that bubble goes away, he has nothing. He has nothing to help him at all. What you have to do is isolate him even further from his team, and he's like the easiest kill in the world. And you guys have both healers with you.
You have your entire
Back.
team with you. You're literally
Yeah.
attempting to 6v1 this Reinhardt right here. Reinhardt
Right. So then you take
sucks
out one
when
of
he's
your-
surrounded.
Biggest targets.
Nah,
Bubbling, bubbling.
something I want to point out after this too.
Red one.
So Freddy dies. You see the Rein is 1, but now 2 things have happened. One, he's backed up into a small space with a shield that you can't get past, and his
there's a
Ana's back,
Reaper right there.
and a Reaper's back, and he's gonna push you guys in there. So your guys are gonna get sandwiched in there while they have a healing source and an impassable barrier. Well, impassable in quotations, but you know what I mean. He's not
Like,
gonna
look
die.
And look at how low Burger is already on mech.
There you
Burger
are, my
is
friend.
super low. He's gonna lose mech. And your Ryan has just died on this push. What you should be doing immediately, like you shouldn't even be
You all
pushing
need to
anywhere.
round yourselves up, and you need to get the fuck out.
and get the fuck out. Gonna win this without Freddy. Like that's just not gonna happen, right?
Everyone's allowed.
What's the Reaper? What's the Reaper? Reaper's not going to be good
I
against.
will.
Sit here and choke. You can keep playing because it'll kind of play out.
Yeah.
Instead, you guys stay and choke for a little too long, and then Burger loses mech.
I'm probably gonna pop.
Push is already kind of fucked because you've lost your diva.
I can swap Mercy as well if you'd rather
No,
play something
I'll
else.
switch.
Frontlining on Lucio.
I know, right?
Reddit Lucio, by the way.
Reddit Lucio.
I'm gonna ult.
Alright.
Yeah,
So-
Lucio.
So we're gonna begin this fight, but real quick, I want to ask something. What's wrong?
I'm not in suit, but I did call to wait until I got in suit.
You're not in suit, and you guys engage anyway. Why?
Because you're not listening.
Hey. Sorry, I don't mean to be like super mean like that, but he doesn't
I
have
think
mech.
in like 1 second
do.
I say
You're waiting.
that.
You're waiting for this
Um,
thing.
I had already popped by that time.
Wait, I'm not in Mac. Wait.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Wait,
So
I'm not in Mercy.
so why do you pop coalescence here? Hey, check out that cheese. So why do you pop coalescence? Moon.
Oh. Mainly because I was thinking I could maybe get a little bit more damage, or just trying to heal people that were low.
I mean, so coalescence is a pretty like alright ult for engaging. Like it heals up your tanks as they push into their tanks. It does a little bit of damage. It goes through shields, which is pretty cool too.
It also charges super fast, so it's definitely like an ult that like if
Of most of the
You didn't, like,
support
go to your
ults,
trade,
it's
yeah.
more of a throwaway ult. Like you can use them, you can burn them. That's fine.
Can
Yeah,
I comment
it's their
on
way as a
Sure.
another thing you want to like identify with coalescence? It can take out like important flankers. Like on this composition, you can take out Genji and basically, pretty much if you just focus him and Pharaoh, it's a great Pharaoh killer.
All right.
But I think
So
one of the but to that point, like one of the issues with that, right, is like so you pop coalescence before you guys can even see them. They just immediately disengage. And so are you able to actually hit anybody with it? Because it doesn't look like you were.
I mean, if anything, you could chalk this up to being like a zoning ult. They're pushing themselves back because they're starting this fight as a disadvantage. There's a significant healing and damage source coming in, and you guys have the mobility to push through. So they're doing their right thing. They're disengaging. They're gonna wait out Coalescence. But then something else happens.
Wait, 2 seconds.
We throw a dragon.
Get back in.
So this is actually a really good dragon for one particular reason. Do you know what that is?
Zarya
They
is
split
split
them
off.
off.
Zoning!
Hey, the Zarya has been split off. Everyone else is here. Zarya is here. This shit ain't happening. They're not gonna help her. But we're gonna continue to watch. What happens?
We ignore her.
Hell yeah, you ignore her. And she gets a free grab. Regardless of whether she lives or dies, she grabs you guys and buys the time for everyone else to re-engage. I'm gonna point out that is a really good block though. Nice block.
Alright. I vault.
So, we're fighting. But what are they doing?
Winning.
Well, even before they started winning,
In.
they push back in, they pop
Ults.
All their
ults,
ults.
but there's 2 ults in particular they pop, which are kind of big.
Call Zen and
Dragon.
Shatter, right?
Zen and Dragon
No,
Blade.
and
Yeah, the
Okay.
Strider got mad at
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
they use 4 ults to win this fight.
yeah, they use 4 ults, but they use kind of the most important one, which is Trance. And they're pushing into you guys. And they have Blade, which is kind of like a significant point. It's like a significant amount of damage. As soon as Trance goes, though, what should you guys be doing?
Back. Pressure the Zen.
Sorry?
Pressure the Zen.
Nope.
Disengaging.
Yeah, you guys don't have the damage to deal with like anything in a trance. You guys need to leave. You need to zone out the trance, zone out the blade.
To be fair, Legion does die here, so it's a little harder for some of you to get back out, right?
It
But
is-
it is important to immediately get the fuck out because they've dumped 4 ults into this fight. Already, are you already 1 down?
You're already 1 down. They're already 2 down at this
so
point.
you're 2 down at this point. Like they've done 4 ults. You don't have the damage to beat it, and also you also no longer have Coalescence to heal through the Grav, right? So not saying that Grav absolutely would have saved you, but imagine if you had it for the Grav, and then maybe you can save beat, and you like end this fight for a longer period of time, right? So that's like another reason why it's like, as an engagement tool, it's not bad, but also make sure that it's like this is true of any ultimate, right? Like not just Coalescence and not just beat and any ult that you use. Make sure that you can get something out of it. And your team an advantage.
So I'm gonna go to the beginning of this fight real quick. Sorry, were you saying something? I think it was Freddy.
Oh no, I wasn't. Sorry.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back to the beginning of this fight, blah, 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 because we talked a lot of words about this one fight that just happened, and it looked like a bunch of people pressed Qs, right? But if you take one thing away from this fight in particular, it's have a plan with your ults. Because you guys just kind of blindly press Q. Good things happened, but for the most part, you all blindly pressed Q. They all blindly pressed Q. And because their ults are better than your ults, they just won. Like, we can say, oh, okay, so the plan is we're going to split them with Dragon. You have Sound Barrier's backup. You can hang on to Coalescence. But, like, the immediate plan is to split the team with Dragon and then attack whoever's, like, the easiest person that's been split. Or, like, we're going to save Dragon for Grav, because we're halfway to Grav. And we're going to Coalescence in and just push into the tanks. But you got to wait until you get a little bit closer. Like, you need to have a plan for these things. Because you just threw away, like, 3 ults in a losing fight. You got a bunch of ults out of them, too. But, like, at the end of the day, all you did was reset the ult economy. And they're kind of ahead still. They're going to have Nano. They're going to have Shatter. Probably close to Reaper ult. And then what do you have? You have Shatter, essentially.
Well, they did use Nano and Shatter this fight, though, right? So that's 5 ults
Yeah.
that we got out.
It's like they ended up using a lot more ults than they were planning to, but that's like a mistake on their end,
I'm not
right?
Wait, 2
Yeah.
seconds.
Like, this isn't like you guys did bad things and they did great things. Like, they just threw a bunch of ults at this, and so did you. There was just mistakes on both
I mean,
sides.
you can kind of hear me say what is happening just in the chaos. I wasn't even sure entirely what to make of that.
We're gonna have shadow.
Yeah.
Entirely what came out on both
Ah.
sides, really. But
Pardon me. So they actually saved Nano.
Oh, okay.
So can you pause this? Alright, you guys are swapping to Widow and Mercy, and I kind of brought this up yesterday, but why? Like, what's the thought here?
I didn't feel like I was doing enough healing.
So you went Mercy over Moira?
I just issue.
I think old Mercy, possibly that's true, right? But new Mercy, don't forget that she got a nerf, right? So right now Mercy heals 50 health per second, which is not enough for a brawling frontline because you've got a Ryan that needs resources, you've got a Zarya that needs resources, you got a Diva that also needs resources. Mercy can only heal one of them at a time. Moira can at least heal all 3. And that's a big part of why you bring her, or you bring Anna for Bionade, and also just the 80 heal per shot is really high. 3 quote-unquote main healers right now in the game. Mercy healing output, I think, is actually the lowest.
Alright.
right,
And
it's swapping
And
healing
also
for
because I've
utility.
been really noticing that I was losing a lot of my healing boost to that. I wasn't getting it back as fast.
That totally makes sense. And that's like, it's difficult for Moira. And part of that, of it might be like if you're able to bounce your orbs efficiently, or if they're kind of like flying off and not healing like 300 HP, right, as they should be. And if you're using any damage orbs at all, which in brawl fights I recommend not using your orbs for damage basically ever, because like you're not really going to get any kills with it. And also your team just
Damage
really
orb
healing output.
is a pretty cool poke tool, mostly because it actually charges you ult pretty well, especially if you're hitting multiple people. But usually in the middle of a fight, you're just gonna want a healing orb all the time.
Alright.
And I would say if you're gonna engage within, I think orb downtime is what, like 8 seconds or something like that. Like if you're not gonna be in the fight for 8 seconds, go ahead and throw a damage orb in and see what you can get. Like if you can to like use nade on herself because she can't get heals or whatever, that's like a great use of it. But at the same time, you're definitely gonna need it in a fight. And I like aware of the numbers, but for future reference, like Mercy's healing output right now is 50 HPS on a single target. I think you do utilize her kit well but it is actually like purely by numbers significantly more difficult to main heal with Mercy with the comp that you guys are running.
Yeah. Plus, you said you kept running out of healing juice, but you actually have like 2 really decent like sources of getting it back. A Genji that wants to stay behind you the entire time, and a Reaper that constantly flanks. Like even if you just like annoy them for like a couple seconds, you can like drain them for a little bit, and you're gonna build up like your healing resource back. Plus, when you spray on your tanks, they heal for a little bit over time. So it's not like you have to constantly spray them. You can like once or like twice over spray them. Have a good night, Cater.
All right, night, Cater, have fun.
Later, Cater.
Yeah, and also one of the other things is, so like this Ryan it's kind of like so they have Discord, right, which makes it hard for Pores to swing around and just do whatever he wants, because he's got a Discord on him and he's taking a lot more damage than he's putting out. But it's kind of the same thing for their Ryan, where it's not quite Discord levels, but like if he starts swinging, you can totally suck on the Ryan.
Yeah.
He's got to be careful of that too, because like that's where you recharge, right? Where you like spray a little bit, or one of the flankers a little bit,
Really just going for the
spray a
damage.
little more.
And I think that just comes with practicing Moira a little bit, especially in like actual live. Like just go play her in like QP or something and learn like try to over heal someone and then like take a little bit of time if you can get some of your healing back, and like learn a balance of like when you can do damage versus how much healing you can then dispense out.
Also,
So I-
just-
Sorry, you're gonna say something, Elysian?
what is it? There's a little trick. You do less damage, but if you just kind of spam your secondary fire, you're faster instead of just like locking onto one target. So it does a little bit less damage, but if you just keep tapping that secondary, it'll refill your healing meter a lot more
There you
in a desperate situation there.
Yeah, little things like that. I mean, this is going to be more for your homework in general, but Teeks could be aware of this too. Where when we talk to you about like animation cancels and little quirks between your heroes, if this is going to be a hero you're going to spend a significant amount of time on, you should do your best to learn its little quirks like that.
Okay.
Say the tapping, like realistically, the tapping thing. Like I know that it exists, but it's not something that I find myself using very often. And I totally like feel you in that it definitely, you're just like, fuck, I'm constantly out and I can't heal people and that's why we're dying. Like it does feel a lot like that on Moira when you're getting into these like super brawly fights and you're not winning them and they're lasting forever. So as a team though, that's something that you guys all need to be aware of, right? So it's like your Moira's healing resources, while massive, are still limited. And so what that means is that you have to take a look at the resources that you have. And that means, like, you know, obviously it depends on what comp you're running, but like that might mean that you have to kill someone. So your plan needs to be, all right, we have to kill somebody in 10 seconds. Otherwise we're fucked. Need to be thinking about too is just resource management of what your team is running in general and like not wasting them.
So we say that we swap some stuff up.
Alright, bomb as well.
That Genji gets a little bit cocky, Cater.
Are we all here? Are we all here?
Which, by the way, I mean, I'm gonna give you. Well, she left, but I was gonna give her props. She had been playing pretty well up here. She got like a bunch of picks on Hanzo. She had that really good dragon, and she got that early pick on a very ignorant Genji.
Respectful Genji.
Very respectful. And you guys are taking this 6v5.
Shift, you're putting shift.
Go for the resource. Go for the resource. Getting you in?
So, just want to point out, this is excellent by you guys recognizing that the Reaper has used a cooldown, calling him out, figuring out where he is because he was out of position, and capitalizing on that. That's fantastic. Very, very, very good job.
And then can you stay here for a minute? All right. And okay, can you circle Moon?
Where are you at?
Elysian. Over here with the plus sign over his head. All right. So this is kind of the problem with running Mercy, right? Is like, look at how many people are low. Look at how many people you're able to heal. And so right here, he should be speeding. Because you guys should be speeding into this Ryan and completely running him over and then making this Anna regret her life. Do that. Because look at how many people are low, and now you don't have the healing output needed, or like the burst healing output needed to keep everybody alive.
Okay.
Got this like super tough decision to make. And this is a big part of it. So in playing like team games with Lucio Anna or Lucio Moira, like Moira and Anna are still going to be your key sources of healing output, and you really want Lucio to be free to help. Like obviously you do need to heal on Lucio, right? Like don't get me wrong, you can't be on speed 100% of the time, but speed is particularly good with these kinds of triple tank comps because like think about how much further you can go. Like this Ryan can't even walk fast enough to disengage from you. Speed boost, right? Like you just run into them and mow them over because they can't get away. They don't have time and they don't have their own speed. And so it means that this is something that you should absolutely be taking advantage of, is just like running past the damage that they're trying to like put in and just saying like, we don't give a fuck, we're mowing you over. advantage of having him. And so when you're building out a team comp, be aware of, like, especially for supports, right? When you're thinking about it. I don't remember who was calling out team comps during it. But this is whoever is calling it on your team, whoever wants to think about this kind of thing, this is something to be very aware of, is like when you're running supports on that support, how does that support actually support your team in terms of utility, not just healing, right? But your other abilities. So like Zen, obviously Discord is huge. Ana, Anti-Nade, and Sleep are huge. Being able to have this like long range sightline is really advantageous. Mercy has res, Lucio has speed and amp, and Moira has amounts of healing output and high survivability. And Brig is a dumb hero. I don't think I need to explain her to any of you. But yeah, so about your support choices, right? And like the utility is really what you're choosing them for, because like any of them can heal. Like the output is different, but at the end of the day, it's like you don't really care. Like you care about the healing, but not really. You can use your additional secondary abilities to the biggest advantage that you can in order to win fights. Does that make sense?
TLDR, think about the utility each healer brings and why that is particularly advantageous within your comp. Because we go over that and you guys win this fight, that's fine.
God, that's so free.
That is free.
Oh, it's big, it's big, it's big.
I also bet you guys could have won the fight without using it.
I think so. Without using Diva Bomb, anyway.
I mean,
I just kinda-
Diva Bomb or grab, because it's like, well, maybe the grab was probably necessary, but like, again, you just push into them, you force them back, you grab them for free, and you just swing into them.
Right, I heard grab go off, so I just automatic bomb.
Yeah, that's fine. I think there's a thing.
I mean, that's a good way. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. But it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier too, in terms of planning, right? So like, did you guys actually plan that combo out where you said like, all right, when you grab tags, I'm going to throw bomb in, which it makes sense because now that you've lost Hanzo, it's to combo it with outside of like Shatter, right? So it makes sense. Planning that out so that your team knows A, how you're planning to use your abilities, B, to like help you. Right, so it's like you don't have any stuns, but if you're running like a Brig, then maybe the Brig wants to shatter, or not shatter, but stun the Rein so that he drops his shield. It makes that combo work. And then also it means that there you won't have bomb to rebeg, and that like supports need to be aware of and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. But like I said, using utility and planning out ults ahead of time is something you guys need to get into the habit of. But you combo well, you win. You follow up on the Zen. You save Shatter.
There you go. Good stuff. Good stuff.
And you almost got Valk.
Lucio, Zarya. We need to push up.
And I like this with you pushing up and telling who should push up with you. One thing I do want to like point out, going back to the idea of like hero quirks. You know when you hold up your shield, Freddy, you can use left mouse to free look, right?
I found that out 2 days ago. My man.
Okay.
I did
Because
not know about it.
you do a lot of this where you like look behind you and you're completely exposed.
Oh man, yeah.
Whoa!
I still
Free
gotta
damage.
I still gotta learn to do that more often. That's just adding that to my game, but I literally found out about that too.
Yeah, this is a nitpicky thing, but like.
No,
Go.
Please kill me every time I don't do it because I need to get it burned in my system.
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
4 seconds.
And that's gonna be relevant, me nitpicking at the end of this session.
Alright, I'm gonna stay back. You guys.
So that's pretty cool.
Or just saved probably at least 2 or 3 of us there. So
I knew he was gonna do it, but I wasn't confident I was gonna block it because I was so up on him, so I didn't want to go through my shield because I don't know how that works.
I mean, I think it's fine to solo shatter him because like there's a very sizable gap between him shattering and where the rest of his team is to follow up. So like that's not going to be immediate. But what do you
That said though, you knew that he had shatter. Did you call it? Did any of you call it?
I think I called it. I thought I did.
let me see.
I called some of them. I don't think I called them all the time. I thought I called this.
You have shatter.
Okay. Called mine.
Alright, I'm gonna stay back. You guys leave.
Let's go further back real quick.
That is that. Whether you called it or not, one thing to be cognizant of, you know that this Rhine has shattered twice already this game, and he hasn't used it. Alright, so
Alright, I'm gonna stay back. You guys leave.
I mean, like, that's the other thing, like, Elysium was doing a really good job of, like, kind of ult tracking. But you, especially when you're in a mirror between, like, Orion and Orion or Azaria and Azaria, you can kind of gauge how well you're doing compared to how well they're doing, and you can kind of judge ults that way, too. Like, you know this Ryan has kind of, like, shit on you a couple times. He's probably got more ult charge than you know? Or, like, the Zarya has been high energy. She's been hitting right clicks. If your tags, like, she's been doing more damage than you. You can definitely say, oh, I have this much grav and I've been doing this well. Well, the Zarya's been better than me. She must be closer to ult or might have it, you know? The mirror is a very decent way of judging ults. But you shatter the Rhine, but then what happens to him?
Gets bubbled.
He gets bubbled. Swing, swing, fire strike.
Right into the oof.
I mean, this doesn't end terribly, mostly because the Zarya pretty much dies right away.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean,
I went back to cart here because no one was pushing cart.
That's fine.
Didn't really define who was going to go up the cart there, so
That's true.
yeah.
I
And
was
this
kinda
is
between
and
trying
this
to go
this
back.
goes back to us talking about your composition, because like
Well, yeah, I just saw that nobody was on it, and then I was, someone needs to push the cart.
this also still goes back
Oh,
to
you're right.
composition.
Right.
yeah, like you're right. You're absolutely right. Someone does need to push on cart. I don't know how many of you actually watch like pro games, but you know who typically pushes cart?
Wins does. Wins
What
pushes
does
cart.
what does Wins play? What does Wins play?
Support.
What's he known for?
for Lucio, but I don't want to play payload. Come on, no.
So like you kind of end up being like cart bitch, and like if you watch Team USA too, Moth played Lucio,
Just
had
kinda
to
just
be
sitting there on
cart bitch.
payload as they spawn camp out.
Yeah, as your multi tank comp pushes up with a Mercy.
And
What
so that again,
what doesn't add up about that situation? Three tanks and a Mercy pushing up. What doesn't add up about that?
Healing output. Not
Hey.
enough.
yeah. So then, because you don't have that healing sustain, now both your supports actually have to go forward with the two tanks, and now you're leaving Burger alone in the cart to push, and you don't have your Diva, which to a fight.
Matrix.
This is the Diva bring. So Diva is 600 HP, 200 which are armor, and 150 HP of extra mini Diva life,
And
Matrix.
and defense matrix.
and high ground. So who do you not want out of this fight? Probably your Diva, right? Especially knowing that, I mean, obviously, okay, Caters just kill the Reaper, but especially knowing that they have a Reaper and your front line is going to be really susceptible to him. You want your Diva in this fight. Give Mercy to push the cart, right? Because she's just going to die. Like, if Reaper gets to her, she dies. And then fight lines, and then if you don't have Lucio, you're probably screwed in other ways, right? So, yeah, again, just something to be mindful of. And this is definitely something that you want to do in terms of pushing forward and playing really aggressively, but also know that, like, you guys don't have any ults, right? So if they, like, fully regroup and, like, push into you, what do you really have to stop them? Not much, right? So kind of, like, be mindful of where they are, where you are.
I mean, you guys aren't super aware of this, but like next fight they're coming up on 6 ult or coming up on 5 ults. So
Actually,
like,
I want to call this out. Elysian calls it. while you're waiting for them to regroup. And he actually says, this next upcoming conversation, he says, oh shit, they're going to have a lot of stuff this upcoming fight. Right? So you guys are aware of it to a certain extent.
I was gonna help her with that.
Like, you haven't really planned for what you're going to do.
What do we have here? They're probably going to have transient.
Genji going upper left.
What
They're
happens?
going to have Nano and Death Blossom, potentially Grab as well. They're going to have a lot here.
They're gonna have a lot here. So they're gonna have a lot here. What should you think about doing if they're gonna bring a bunch of ults to a fight and you guys don't have that much?
Backing out, waiting, probably like waiting out their ults. Maybe you make just
Not
like a
particularly. Alright, have a good night,
trade
Burger.
out and all.
I mean, all right. Kind of not really. Ah, fuck. I was actually going to talk about Burger right here. Unlucky.
You still talk about him? You're gonna watch it.
It's okay.
So, all right. So he's here on the ground, right? So you've just called that they have a lot of ults, and I think you actually list out specifically like Reaper's got his ult, or
You literally listed them out, and then
I
you're
can't
like,
remember
holy crap,
exactly.
they have a lot of ults.
And it just dawned on me that this is good.
so they haven't ulted in a while. You know this ult Bonanza fight is coming. You also know that you only have these like 2 ults, and really only Beat is good for like defending against stuff, but you also know it's not going to defend against Blossom and Grav, and like you have to decide, right, like what you want to use it for. So this kind of means one of two things. So like either you lose this next fight, save all your ults, and just try to build as much up as you can before you lose, and force them to use a shit ton of them, because you know like willing to overcommit to a fight, right? And they haven't won. They need to win this fight in order to keep you from capping point B.
Like you guys literally have 3 minutes, and like the cart's gonna get like nearly like to this corner. Like this is a must win for them. They have to overinvest.
Willing to do it. And so I mean, like, this is more like to get the feel for it. But like what you could do is just say like, hey, let's position in a way to try to minimize. So if you look at their comp, what's one thing? So they have Grav, they have Death Blossom, they have Blade, they don't have Shatter, but those are like the 4 damage ults that you really need to worry about, right? Like Nano kind of supports whatever, and then Trance is also kind of whatever. Like it's not really going to matter that much for like fight winning into you guys. So out of ults, all the 4 ults that they have, what do they all have in common?
Combo.
Oh, how?
Some of them can be.
They're all very aggressive. I mean, the only really defensive ult they have is Trans, so they're going to have to use those aggressively.
But I guess like in terms of what do you mean by like what do they need to do? What needs to happen basically for their ults to get value?
They need to push into us.
They need to make us use our ults first.
Can I give them a hint?
Yeah, sure. I think I don't know if I'm not being clear.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Burger is very valuable here. Burger.
But also one other
All
thing.
makes sense now. I see now what you're asking. I see.
Kind of, actually, but no. But that is a good point. That's part of it. But in order for Death Blossom and to a certain extent Blade and Grav, for all of those to work together into a tiny little group. And like, look at where you are right now. This friendly little 4-piece of a Lucio and 3 tanks. And so like there's parts of it that are unavoidable, right? It's like Ryan and Zarya kind of have to be together because they have to play together. Lucio has to be in range. Diva, and this is where when you're calling ults, and we know they probably have Grav, they probably have Death Blossom. Because like who on their team is gonna go handle Diva on the high ground? Maybe like what's Genji gonna do? You know, like alone? Probably not a lot. So
Reaper has to
if
spend like
Burger
a
is
teleport and a ton of time to reach a diva.
which I mean, he has because he's walking all the way back around to this solo ult your Mercy, but that aside, so like if Burger is up here on this like left-hand ledge, wraps all the way around this front, right? So Burger can literally just hang out there. And you know what else is magical about this spot is if their Rhine pushes up into you, like right up into Freddy, just chilling on this ledge behind him. You know where his rockets go?
Back of his head.
Pew 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 pew.
Behind his shield, right into his face. And you know what that means? He's got to either block the D.Va rockets or he can block you guys. And actually, on Dorado, I think they pretty much do this exact thing to you, Freddy, and that's one of the reasons that you died so fast on one of like the really early fights was like D.Va literally just shot you in the face from like in the back of the head.
The top left building that I was spawned.
Exactly. So it's like this high ground position on D.Va is extremely powerful. And then you know what else he can do from up here? If Reaper tries to drop in and ult you guys, woo. And like if they try to toss the grab in, maybe he can eat it. And even if he doesn't, defense matrix for the team.
Yep. And it kind of is like one, like these are all very like tightly ranged ults. You guys need to be together for them to be effective.
Yep.
And they're reliant on trying to avoid D.Va as much as they can.
Yeah.
But I think with this many ults and you guys are very aware that they have them, you can also afford to lose the fight and just dry run it, save ults, you know. They're
Basically, try to stall long enough to make them use more and more ults, and then if you can get 4 without using any of your own, awesome, right? Because then next fight you come back with 4 ults, and you smash the shit out of them.
Did any of you guys
Pretty
call
much-
this?
I don't know if anyone saw him.
But the Zarya, we called it super late.
No.
Not the
Be
Zarya, the
quiet
Reaper.
real quick.
When Death Blossom comes out, drop barrier.
Yep.
Zarya by herself, no bubbles.
Alright, so now you saw it. What's up, buddy?
I'm just watching that Reaper literally mosey on.
And then turn around and oh look, there's a
And,
mercy.
oh, look, there I go.
I booped him away so he only gets our mercy, but it was a little
Alright, so let's pause here for a second. Alright, so you use beat because you hear this Death Blossom, but you know what's already happened?
He used it.
He's already gotten his intended target, right?
He
your
got
beat-
value.
So your beat is but Kate shoots him. So that might have happened either way. But like so now this Ryan is in your group. Maybe it helps Freddy win this. But then do you remember what happens immediately after beat wears off?
Yeah, yep.
Right here. Right?
Yeah, I kind of panicked with the beat. I had already booped him away. He already got his target. I shouldn't have used it there, but
It's fine. It happens. I do it all the time. And it takes a moment to like, it definitely takes a lot of practice to be in the moment and be like, shit, this is a situation, but actually I shouldn't use my ult even though it should help us. But one other tip for you, actually, Genji coming in with Blade, Nano or otherwise, and you're on Lucio. So Lucio, out of all the supports, except for Anna, obviously, if you hit sleep, like that fucks it up. But with speed, and if you can track where he is and boop him back, you're actually uniquely able to really fuck up Blade and minimize its impact on your team without having your ultimate. What you do is you speed your entire team out. And so, like, even though it's dangerous, if he gets one hit on you, you might be really low. But it's actually really important to stay on speed and get people the fuck out away from him so that he's not getting the dash resets and he's not getting the value out of it. It's a little tough because you guys are, like, stuck around, like, the cart. Have, like, a tight corner to get out of. And you have all these, like, big tanks, right, to try to shuttle around. But in general, you want to speed boost people out and stay on speed so that you can like boop him away from you and then speed in the other direction so that he can't do anything with his dashes and he's just kind of stuck swinging in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and I mean it's kind of scary in the face of a Nano Blade, but you've already used beat. You're gonna be pretty high health. You can take a blade swipe. You can tank one. It's fine.
And then you can also just like take advantage of the wall rides to like
bait him away, because like typically speaking, most Genjis, especially at this level, like go for squishies, right? Like especially when you have Nanoblade, like
They go for squishies, and if they've already hit you once, they are hell bent on hitting you again. You become priority number 1 after you've been sliced once.
got 3 tanks here with you anyway. You're the only obvious target, so you can kind of just like wall ride and bait him around away from your team and stay on speed to help them either scatter or disengage with you. So
Yeah.
does that necessarily save everyone? Maybe, maybe not.
But
General,
but it's
you'd be
something you can
surprised-
do without
Moving
investing your
forward.
ultimate.
It's like you'd be surprised at how many blades I've been able to juke just alone.
I called out that I was booping him away, and I did manage to boop him away for a bit, but then we just kind of kept pressuring them a little bit. Like, it's a little bit before this, yeah, right here.
Yeah, you guys kind of stay in this fight.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
all right.
We tried to stand up, but then the Reaper was behind us, and the Genji was still blading, and we should have just dropped back like as soon as.
And another reoccurring theme, because you know he death blossomed, and you know he got away. Cater probably saw him wraith out backwards. You know he's still behind you, right? Like,
Actually, if you guys had backed out as soon as Moon had died, like just backed out to the corner before that a little bit to like regroup, you probably could have caught him out. Well, the Genji wouldn't have been able to dash into you, or he would have needed both dashes to get to you.
but like after
And then
after
when you
Moon
beat him, it would
dies,
have had even more value.
you guys are kind of all here. After Moon dies, you can kind of just creep, like, you can soft disengage to, like, here, because he's not, like, unless he goes, like, all the way upstairs and around, like, he's still, like, in this back alley somewhere. So he's gonna be back in front of you. And then if he wants to get behind you again, he has to take this long-ass flank, right?
Even with teleport, it's going to take him a minute.
Yeah, so that buys you time.
I got Shatter.
Hey, you guys wipe. You're trying your best to get out.
Yeah, just get out. Get all the way out, all the way out. We're coming.
Alright, there you go.
I like how you're calling them to go all the way out. For the most part, a lot of you lived. Half of you, approximately.
My ass shot.
Regardless of all that, though, like, your ult economy has kind of, like, tied up a little bit. You're coming up on a Grav. I mean,
Actually, ahead
they're,
of them. You're
yeah.
ahead of them at this point.
your,
Yeah.
their ults have more impact, but, like, the ults that you're coming up on are just as impactful.
Well, also, you know what Transcendence doesn't save people from? In terms of planning, that's something to consider, right? So it's like if you know, hey, I'm coming up on Grav, and like you don't have a big DPS ult to go with it.
High amounts of burst damage.
Yeah,
Diva
this might
Bomb,
be a good opportunity for Diva
Tire.
Bomb. And so breaking the shield is going to be one of your priorities if you have the damage to do that. But
This comp does not break
Theoretically.
shields.
but if you had a shield, that's something to consider so that you can get maximum value out of the Diva Bomb.
Shatter bomb.
I killed myself.
Shatter bomb. That's okay.
Reaper up top.
Here, so, who's up
So,
here?
That Ryan's a dick.
Alright. Did you just yeah? All right. So 4 of you walked past him. Can't tell. I think he's maybe at some point at least he is forward enough where I think you can see him.
he might be in this little cubby too, that goes, like, through here. And this is not exactly
Oh, I didn't
an
know.
intuitive thing either, but, like, kind of learn to check your corners. And then not only that, if we go up a little bit, you guys turn into here. You guys turned up there. Like, Freddy, what did you see when you turned that corner and saw the cart? What did you see?
Dudes.
What dude specifically?
Reaper's half.
I don't remember. It's not on there.
Hey, there's some dudes right there. What dudes are
Oh,
those?
you know what they don't have.
What dude isn't there?
Ryan?
The Reinhardt. As soon as you see that corner, you don't see Orion there, that's a warning sign. Because he's supposed to be frontlining, right? He's supposed to be with his Zarya hanging out wherever they want to take the fight. whatever space they can claim. That's where the Reinhardt wants to be. As soon as he's not there, you know something's up. And you turned that corner like 10 seconds ago.
Thanks.
Like right there.
Reminds me of
Back over there.
Contender Korea semifinals. Bumper was in a really weird position, and it somehow worked, even in a pro match. So sometimes you just gotta learn to check corners with that shatter, I guess.
Learn to check corners and be aware of like you're pretty aware of what their comp is. So you're aware that they have a Reinhardt, and you know he should be there because they want to take the fight there, but he's not there. Something's up.
And I mean, again, like you said, right? This happens even in pro matches. Like, don't feel too bad that you missed it, but it's just like next time if you see something like that and you don't see the Rhine, like
it's probably a thing. It's probably a thing that they'll get away with like once every like 5 matches or something like that. 5 or 10 matches.
I think, yeah.
It's a very there's a very low chance of this happening, but like it's subtle enough to where you could probably see it coming in some sort of way.
In a weird way, I will say too. So part of like the patterns,
I don't know that I would have noticed this if I was playing with you guys, but you know, obviously having like a bird's eye view and like the one thing that you guys should have noticed, I think, is that like flanking. Like a lot of their team really likes flanking. Like the Zen likes to flank, the Reaper definitely likes to flank. The Zarya somehow almost got into your backline at some point just by walking.
The fucking Rhine flanked you.
Flanked you. So it's like you kind of know that they really like these like long flank cheese plays. Or two, because like especially on support, right? So if you like generally speaking, if a tracer comes at you from some direction one time, she's probably going to take that path again. Like the lower the elo people are familiar with and like take, and so they kind of just like literally just run in circles over and over again and grab health packs in between and just like keep killing people their way. Kind of end up doing that too. And so it's like they have sort of this like flanky type of play. So one thing to consider, if you're getting flanked a lot by a lot of flank plays like in one particular match, start doing a couple of 360s and just thinking about what other cubby holes they might be in. Check every single time. But just like I found that it sometimes really pays off just to like while. Sometimes you'll be able to catch people out who had planned on flanking. Like if any of you had seen the Rhine and just shot at him, he would have had to back out.
Yeah.
The jig is up. Like he's got to back the fuck out, or he's probably fucked.
And then that's like a sign too. Like you called it before this fight that the Rhine has shatter, but like if you see a Rhine like kind of doing that, you kind of realize, oh shit, he has shatter. You know.
A couple of things that may be helpful in future matches or scrims.
Yeah.
Drop down.
Reaper's half.
It's just me and you up here.
You also are aware that the Reaper's still back there too. But this whole sequence right here with Cater up top with the Reaper and like
Right, actually, yeah. Sorry, continue. There is one more thing that I wanted to talk about here.
Sure. But like, where's this Reaper at? I kind of want to see where he comes from. He's probably up there already. But this kind of goes back to team comp where it's like, or no, it's a Genji. Pardon me. Kind of the idea of like, in this sort of like Mercy with Widow compositions, like most of the time the Mercy is going to get value by damage boosting your Widow. So she kind of needs to babysit her a little bit, or at least like pocket her, which leads to like these weird situations where there's like a disconnect. But at least like in this situation, like this would be like a 2-on-1, like it's a Widow and a Mercy versus like whatever flanker. So hopefully like the Mercy is going to pocket the sniper throughout all of this, because mostly that dies, she gets rezzed. Look at how, like, outside of Burger being on Diva, like, look how kind of pathetic this, like, peel force is. All this shit's happening, like, up there. You know? You guys don't really have easy ways of getting up there. It takes you a long-ass time to get up there.
And this is actually one of the other things that I want to talk about. So you know that Mercy is up there, and like she's rezzing, so she might need help with, like with this Reaper. But at the same time, like because you're up there and Mercy's also up there now, you know who your tanks have up front? No one, right? So like if they push into Pores, he's fucked. He's dead. Like he's just gone. This is like, you know, again, kind of this is what we were talking about too earlier with this like Mercy Lucio comp, is that like he is gonna be the one responsible for peeling really for Widow. Like you have to trust that Moon's able to do that. Your job really is to babysit the tanks to the best of your ability, because you're the only one that can heal all three of them at the same time. You're the one with the ability to shuttle them in and out of danger. Is really crucial for you to stay with your Rhine.
Reaper's half.
It's just me and you up here, Tony.
And you call it out, it's like, oh, it's just me and you. But then the shatter happens. You get some sick dash resets.
Hey, regroup. We're gonna go all the way
Run,
around.
Burger, run.
Through the alley.
Okay. Reaper's here, no shift.
They're pushing up, I'm dead.
No, you're not. No,
Oh
you're not.
my
No, you're not.
god.
It's fine. Come into the
Alright,
come to the
Reaper in
hotel.
hotel. Reaper in hotel.
Can we punish the DPS here?
Come right side, guys. Right side over here.
Yep. Okay. All of them.
I kind of like how there's a plan, and you guys are kind of doing things, and it's kind of great too, because it's like, so far coming up through the middle hasn't exactly been working for you, so you will kind of want to go with this flank. I like that there's a plan,
Alright, I'll use Valkyrie in this fight.
and there's a call for an ult. That's pretty good.
I'm gonna use shatter.
You guys killed the Reaper though? The Reaper's still back there, right?
No, he teleported out.
Yeah, he got out through a bookstore, I think.
Ah, there he is. All right.
Yeah. So,
It's fine. Come into the.
yep, right there. He's teleporting.
Alright,
Come to the
Reaper in
hotel.
hotel. Reaper in hotel.
And there he is again.
DPS here?
He's out.
Come right side, guys. Right side over here.
Yep. Okay. All of them.
That's a good
All
call.
the way around.
Alright, I'll use Valkyrie in this fight.
All right. Tell me when to boost you.
I got shatter. I'm gonna use shatter. Keep going around. Keep going
Alright,
around.
shatter bomb.
They
Shatter
know
bomb.
we're here.
Keep going around. Keep going around. It's fine. Keep.
This is literally the first time I've heard you guys actually, like, make a plan with your ults. You guys have a minute left on the second point. That's been
It's a
a,
very good plan. It's a good plan though.
it is a good plan, but there's like, there's been a significant amount of game that's happened without you guys actually making a plan for that, you know? But I like this. This is good. This is a good plan.
The Widow's still back, or their Widow. Their Reaper's still back.
It's a little bit unfortunate that you got caught in that.
Bombing.
So the plan was to shatter bomb, and you kind of just bomb anyway. Well, Burger's not here, but you just kind of throw this out. We're deviating from the plan because we're kind of afraid things are breaking down essentially.
But you've traded, right? Like,
It's not like this is a lost fight. There's been a decent trade, and you have a Mercy. A Mercy with Valk, who's a little bit harder to kill when she's attempting to res, you know? So like this fight definitely isn't over, and I feel like the bomb was just kind of thrown away for no reason.
the bomb. Actually, I will say,
Bonus, you guys. It's still within the.
okay, what I will say is, if the bomb actually had been on top of Pores' body, it would have zoned them off. Is with like damage being thrown her way. Like that actually might have been worth it.
Probably
But, like,
would
this
have been
bomb
better
being
to
on-
throw the bomb first, then shatter to get them to turn around.
That too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But at this point, you're already dead. So like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about before we were playing. Yeah.
Like,
no. But definitely the if you want to throw the bomb so that the Rhine is forced to turn around and then shatter them into it, it works amazingly well.
yeah. Outside of that, though, I have no idea why the bomb is over here. But
This bomb is actually extremely well placed if they're all around the cart, except none of them are around the cart.
they were all aware you guys flanked, and they took the fight here. Like they're like, we're engaging here. We're not gonna concede all this space to you.
But this is what I mean though. If like so, Porza's body is like bottom left somewhere, right? Because the Ryan just charged him, so he's like under this Ryan. If Burger just bombs like right here, he's actually more likely to get a kill, and then B, Moon has all the space that he needs to get this res off, because this is easily like 2 to 3 seconds and res is 1.5 seconds. So that's like another thing for like tank for especially zoning ults like bomb is like, I don't know if you guys remember, but there were a couple of games where like Fuel has definitely done this before, where like they're almost about to lose, they have one last fight left, they're 2 down or 1 down or whatever. Seagull or Mickey will just throw their bomb in, and Harry will fly in after the bomb and res as it's blowing up. So it's actually really like, bomb being a zoning ult is actually really great for creating those kinds of opportunities, like for your Mercy. So that's something to be thoughtful of too.
Yeah, like we all think of like Hamster. We think of Hammond ult as like the zoning ult, because that's kind of, it was literally built to be a zoning ult. But like Diva Bomb was kind of the original zoning ult. It leans more to being a zoning ult than an actual kill tool, you know.
Take him to bonus, you guys can still win this.
I like how you're kind of prepping them. This is, I kind of like this just because like you're putting your confidence in them. You're telling them this fight isn't over. It definitely isn't, because you rezzed. You guys are still even. You still have your, well actually, did you use Shatter? Oh, he shattered and canceled your Shatter.
They're actually up now because there's Undead and they don't have a res. So
Yeah. Oh, they still have Shatter. Something happened to your Shatter. But
got killed mid cast.
Yeah, I think he got charged.
But I mean, any sort of positive reinforcement, just keeping everyone in it and keeping comms flowing. You don't want to clutter comms too much, but at the same time, like when things go dead, you know, you could say something positive and get conversation going again.
It's a res. It's a big res. Let's go.
Oh, big grab, big grab.
Help him out. Help him out.
Nice, nice. Oh, wasted blade, wasted blade.
Focus him down. Focus down.
Alright. You said wasted blade, your Ryan goes down, and then you panic beat.
Yep. That's a fun thing to come back to.
I think you know, right? I don't need to say anything.
I absolutely panicked there. I don't know why. Like, I think that he was basically dead by the time I dropped it. That was just dumb.
We don't need to pick on you, but we are going to pick on you, so.
There you go.
Sorry, don't have res for you.
Diva, push up if you can.
And that was kind of a case of trading ults, except like Grav did more than Shatter did. Just because you guys, outside of Freddy, stood up through the Shatter, and you guys had follow up for the Grav.
I like that Burger is frontlining over here while your Ryan's still walking in.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stay on heels for you. Eden?
Also, alright, pause. Alright, you see this Reaper over here?
See him again. Oh no.
What has he done literally all game?
Like,
hey.
You know where every flanker likes to go on this point?
This fucking little box right here.
Literally every fucking Junkrat, Diva, what else gets up there? Widow, snipers love to get up there, Genji loves to hide up here. Everything loves to hide up here, because this is really, honestly, one of the only real, like, flanking spots that people don't really regularly check for.
And it's kind of hard to check. Like, you have to invest, like, a cooldown, or, like, a hero needs to, like, go up here and check. Like, this is kind of annoying.
You need to be able to, like, jump high enough to look, but...
It's a great spot because it's hard for you guys to, like, police in some sort of way.
But also at the same time, like as soon as this cart rolls around the corner, you can see him just by standing on the cart. Absolutely, from here, if you just turn around. So just, going back to like making it a habit to check, especially, so I think this is more of a special case of like, because people really like flanking here all the time, just make it a habit to check there.
Yeah. And like, how like Cater's up here, she grappled up here. All it takes is a little flick and you can look at this area before going to your main target, which is like over here or whatever.
I think she freaked out because she saw the Genji here, and so she was like, oh shit, I'm fucked. So I don't know if she would have had time to turn around and also see Reaper. But
it's a good habit because you can look left before right. If you're gonna grapple here.
The cart being where it is, anyone can see him from here.
And another thing you want to do as Mercy, you always want to utilize your high ground. You should have flown up to Cater to get her strong position, and he can also heal, and he can see everything coming around his team from up there.
Yeah, you can Guardian Angel up to her and Bunny Hop, and then you hold space to like kind of hover in the air, and you can still heal people down here, but you're maintaining this space
And it
up
also
here.
keeps you protected from that Reaper killing you, and you're pocketing Cater as well, so it keeps you alive.
Like, the only thing, like, Reaper can, like, poke from here, but he's not going to do much. Genji has to invest a dash in order to get to you. None of these shitters down here are going to do anything to you. Like, it takes resources to get you if you're up here.
Unless the Zen and the Ana are like Jonak.
Yeah.
Some people are. Like, Floating Mercy, it can be somewhat easy to hit. So definitely, like, be aware of that. But it is, like, if they're playing, like, a Lucio Morta or something, like, be aware that it's something that you can do that can get you out of a tight spot.
And
In the
Burger
fight
could
without
have
being
gone
in
up
the
there
fight.
as well.
So that's also, like, kind of like a repeating theme of, like, Burger should be helping Cater to hold high ground. Cater is going to lose against a Genji and a Reaper, for sure, together. But, like, even if it's just one of them, she's going to need some help, right? So Moon and Burger are really the only two equipped to go do that. So, to be thoughtful of. And then I will say on this point, because of the high ground that's generally inaccessible to most of the rest of the characters, like, Moonbeam on Mercy is actually kind of an advantage in this case.
In this case. But, I mean, going back to being Diva, like, Matrix is probably the most broken thing about her. The second most broken thing about her is her mobility, and you should be looking to abuse it as much as you can. Occupying high grounds where you know Genji wants to live, or where flankers want to live because you check that much easier. Diva's a literal broken line broken hero, and you should be abusing that.
Goodbye, true Diva main.
Yep. There's my Diva main tip of the day.
Former Diva one trick.
Former Diva one trick.
True story.
Diva's like Owl job security.
That was pretty sweet, though.
That
That
was
was
a
a
sick
great
ass bubble. Holy shit.
No, that was a sick ass boop.
The
That
boot
was a good
too,
boot.
but I saw the bubble as a Zarya theme.
Oh, that was actually just really good, kind of like almost accidental coordination there.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That shot was insane. That shot was literally insane.
Wait, where is she?
She's right here. She
Oh.
she has that small ass sight line. I mean, it's like, and he's jumping too, right?
Yeah. And he just got booed.
He gets booped. That shot's insane.
Oh, shit.
That was fucking inspired.
I bomb. Bombing.
I'm like trying to check. Do we have a note about this?
What?
Like this sort of sequence.
Big.
Don't,
Got the,
I don't
sorry,
think that we
sorry.
do.
Nice.
And I don't mind that bomb, one, because, well, it gets someone, and two, it's in a spot where, like, any low mobility hero that's like here, like they're either gonna funnel into this tight space, or they have to like back out completely, which buys you time. Or if they just stand there, like they're just gonna die. You get the Zarya and you force trance. So like these like kind of tighter corridors, like you can kind of let bombs fly a little bit more liberally, just because you're either guaranteed to get something or you're zoning people out enough to like push and take more of this space.
That bomb bought us time from our shatter.
Yeah.
Yeah, to like maintain space.
Like there was no follow up on that shatter because of the bomb.
Stop reading. Stop.
Go deflect.
I like that you're calling cooldowns.
I'll get caught on the extension.
Oh god, right. Get us out of here, get us out of here.
I got you. Okay, they have a jump right now instead of a leader.
Good disengage.
Hey, I heard someone call this though. They have a Junkrat instead of a Reaper. We have bits on this, but I'm glad someone called it out.
Warning.
Because this will lead to our next point.
I believe so. Take a moment to heal up all the spam. Take a moment to heal up all the spam.
And I think going back to Burger and eating fire strikes, I think Freddy takes a fire strike. That's some ult charge. It's just a click. It doesn't require that much investment just to eat a fire strike.
Well, and also the key is like even if your teammates won't die from it, it prevents the other Rhine from getting ult, which is in this kind of mirror comp that's huge. Like it's huge.
Yeah. Unless like you're Zarya in a multi-tank setup but is purposely eating the fire strike to like charge from bubble, like you should just be eating them 24/7.
I don't.
I'm almost dead.
I got you.
Nice.
D-Mac.
I'm back.
Tire.
It's low, it's so
I'm
low.
dead.
God, I get so aggressive after every shatter, no matter what. It's so bad.
Stop here. So, okay, let's take Elysian kills the Zen. Where are you right now?
That's a good question, actually. Where was I? I think I was like way back. I was right at the ceiling.
Woo!
Do you see
Where I'd be
like
really
your Rhine just died in this corner?
Your Ren's dead. Your entire team hanging out back here trying to retreat.
You get a great pick. Don't get me wrong. This is a great pick. Why are you not with your team? So this kind of goes back to like, you know, like a lot of shit that gets thrown at Reddit Lucio's for this exact reason, right? And it's like it makes for cool YouTube clips, but like sometimes making those plays completely fucks over your team.
And there's a time and a place to do these kind of plays because Lucio and D.Va are a lot more similar than you think they are. They both kind of operate on reacting to information that's given to you. Like it's either like you need to react to a threat and you either need to speed like your team away or boop it away, or like sometimes you need to react to a pick and you need to push people forward. D.Va kind of does the same thing to an extent. She reacts to information. There's a threat in the backline. She goes and peels for the backline. There's someone out of position. D.Va's very good at getting to them and punishing them. Lucio, to an extent, Reddit Lucios, are also kind of good at that, where they push up and they punish people that are out of position. In this case, you push someone that was in position. You still killed them, but they were like with their team, whole 9 yards. They were doing their thing sort of properly, and you kind of let everyone else behind you die.
Again, not so, like okay. There's a time and place for these kinds of plays, and like if the Zen like has trance and you guys are setting up like a big ult or whatever, and you kill him, like you've just lost 2 tanks, really, right? Because like Burger is now demexed. Your Rhine is dead. They have this Junkrat up top that your team really needs to get the fuck away from because he's also like spamming the shit out of your team. So like especially for the tire, like you should be speeding people away from it so that they are less likely to die.
Having said all that, you're actually kind of in an okay position too because
you're contesting the
you're gonna get test cart because there's like 5 seconds left. There's not a lot of like awareness of how much time is left on the
that's something that doesn't get called
at all.
Touch, someone touch. Someone touch. We're gonna regroup.
On a half, on a half.
Oh wow, you got that off. I can't believe it. Wait. Rise low.
What? No.
I can mag.
Ugh.
Get the Zarya.
Stop. All right.
You heard me say oof. I want to ask you guys a question. Why are we upset about this?
Getting kills.
You're getting
winning.
kills.
You're winning those numbers. But out of all the people that are taking damage on the other team, you know who's not taking damage right now?
Any takers?
Zen?
No.
Coming back from spawn. He's not taking
Junkrat?
damage.
Okay,
Hey!
yeah, I was gonna yoink the
What's
control of
this
it.
asshole doing here? Still alive.
Pushing forward. So like look at where the tanks are too, right? So it's like here's the Lucio on the right shooting into this grab. Zarya shooting into grab, which is fine. Ryan is literally on the other side trying to kill the Zarya in this corner. So in the meantime, none of you have noticed that the card is being contested, with the exception of Burger, who's half health. Mercy has just died to this junk.
Essentially,
no healing,
he
no
does.
help.
He doesn't have the resource to take this fight. Like he's doing kind of what he's supposed to. He's just kind of doing it a little bit late because it's like, you know, Junkrat has already done the damage. He's taken out like a significant healing source for you guys. Like
The other thing is he actually calls this out, but no one really turns around to help him until it's too late.
You know who's good at like turning around and helping people out that are in danger outside of D.Va? Lucio.
Right here, Lucio shooting into grab. That's Ryan.
Oh, that's right. Oh, there you are. You're way up here.
Shooting into grab because
I was panicking. I was trying to get aggressive and.
I like how you guys have called. You've done your job of contesting cart, and then what do? You leave cart. I mean, you're shooting into a grab. It's like a noble effort, but like things are happening on the cart, you know. And you're very good at helping when things are happening elsewhere, especially in the back line.
And I think probably as you guys remember, what ends up happening is like, so not only does this Junkrat solo stall the cart
Junk one.
in years, he stalls for so long that he gets another tire. He's 1 health and he's not dead.
He's still on the
He's
cart.
still calling Zed.
He gets another tire. He literally just soloed that.
Yep. He literally just now ended the fight, and you guys have lost.
Could have been worse.
It could have
Definitely could have been worse. Yeah.
We almost got caught up there on first point, but that was a decent what?
Yeah. So confused at first. I've never had that happen.
Yeah. Welcome to the scrim life.
Alright, what are we gonna run here? I might run Ana.
Yeah, you should.
I guess I'll run
Restart is give you guys full map.
Alright, I'm going Zarya.
Oh, Claire?
Let's not watch my Ana gameplay because it was bad.
I know.
This has been going on for a while. We might speed run through this real quick. We also have less notes on this, but
I was like, I don't know what we're fucking talking about.
and if anything, I really want to go over like this point A.
Yeah, still pretty strong combo.
We can go over this point A and see where we are and see how people are feeling.
They still have.
But we have a decent amount of notes on this point A, and the beginning of point B for that matter.
And I think B and C, we ended up with not as many notes because it's like a lot of the same stuff that came up on attack, but also they bled together a lot.
After you guys left point A, you guys got kind of rolled.
Statue base just shoot through its legs.
You will.
Okay, see where I am? I'm gonna be up here. Ideally, I want you to keep sightlines with me.
You guys keep sightlines on me.
Up to higher ground.
Alright, I'm just gonna chill by Freddy and give him bubble.
Did you not see Tex? Tex said no.
Alright, so you can next to me in case someone's flying, so I need to.
I'm let's see. If I can like.
Are you in the back like widow spot?
They have.
I'm drawing this with a trackpad, so it's really bad, but I'm up there.
Alright, cool. Give it back.
Oh, you have to click to get control.
Yo, give me back control.
Okay, I told him not to put it up.
I can't get control. You're controlling it.
How do you, what? There you go, okay.
So, do you see what they did as soon as you killed 2?
Genji player.
We're gonna go back to the beginning.
Ooh, that
no
Ryan's
charge?
like beating. Ryan's beating. Oh, I told him not to put it up.
That's absolutely correct.
This
This is
Oh, we're gonna keep going.
Tracer and hotel.
Discord and one.
And outside of the Tracer, what did the rest of their team do after those 2 died?
Retreat.
ran away.
Hey, they ran away.
out of line of sight.
Out of line of sight. They're not only past
And
the
you know what-
choke, they're to the right, so you guys can't shoot them.
You know what you guys didn't get because they ran away? Ult charge.
Like, for winning a fight, I mean, granted it was a very quick fight, this is some pathetic ult charge, you know? You're almost,
Yeah.
like, kind of even outside of tags.
Actually higher than you.
Oh yeah, they're actually a little bit higher than you.
Tracer one, I mean, Tracer one, I was saying. Tracer's still on the, Tracer's still on hotel.
This was kind of a scary moment for a second. I mean, it wasn't really punished because there's a bit more cooldown, but like, yo, dog. You frontlining? Is Zen?
I remember when I told you that you're relying on your mechanics and it bails you out of times.
I mean, like, I guess this isn't like a super risky play because all it is just Tracer, but it's like, you know, there's other tools that take care of Tracer. And Tracer can just one clip you.
And also, you know what you have right behind you here? This friendly blue shield. You know what Tracer can't shoot through? This friendly blue shield.
You have tools to make this fight way easier than it needs to be.
Here's the other, actually, why this positioning I think is actually more problematic. Only have a Tracer that's in your face right now. They also have a Junkrat, and you know what Junkrat does? And see, you're not. And this is the choke that he should be spamming, and because you're in front of your shield, it's very, very, very easy to die.
Like you've already seen that the Zarya is very like, she's cool to like poke through the choke. They have a Junkrat which can totally spam this choke. Like there are 1.5 million ways in which you die here completely randomly. Like see, he's just lobbing grenades over. Not exactly where you were, but kind of near where you were. And like, he shoots one too low, it like clips the top of the thing and just rests right in front of you and blows you up. No reason. You think getting just like random Junkrat spam is annoying? Yeah. And it kind of happens too because of positioning.
She just went back to spawn. She went back to spawn.
Alright, real quick, because I know you're here, Freddy, kind of Burger. Did any of you guys see this Tracer go this way? Blow, that was terrible. Hold up. Did any of you guys see that? I know Freddy said he'd BRB. Or if any of you guys back there, Leezy and Moon, none of you guys saw this Tracer, right?
I feel like I saw it a while ago, but I didn't think that she was following through with that flank.
Okay. So, Cater, when you watch this recording,
She's with her people now.
she's with her people now, but...
She's with her people.
Woo! Alright, you chuck this. I guess you're chucking it into the choke, so like someone will run into it and they'll take poison damage. But if we zoom out a little bit, because I'm going to see this coming, you are here. This is a very easily accessible high ground via some stairs. Like, what's really cool about Poison Mine, whether someone hits it or whether it gets destroyed, it's going to kind of alert you where people are. And especially if you're going to be in like a very accessible high ground, you need Poison Mine to like be your kind of bodyguard. If no one's going to pocket you, you kind of need to fend for yourself and just take smarter fights. So what happens...
Shield charge, watch out.
Reinhardt low. Reinhardt.
Freest one clip of her life. because you were completely unaware that she was coming up there, and you had the tools to not only be aware of that, but escape it as well. And now you guys start this fight 5v6.
Tracer flanks up top.
Tracer's up top. Watch behind.
Okay, also, can you go back a little bit there?
Sorry?
Can you go back a little bit here? Right. A bit further back. Oh. You guys have just lost a person. Jin has dropped because he knows Tracer is up here and he doesn't also want to get clipped. He doesn't want to get clipped either. Here though is that you've lost your own high ground, and it's much harder for you to hit your nade into their team. Up here, while you guys are down one, is also like, okay, actually a couple things. So right now is on Burger. Who's actually taking damage though? It's not Burger, right? Like it's Freddy. So Orb should be on your Rhine right now.
I mean, more to this too, if you guys are like one down here, like Moon's kind of got the idea, and I guess some of you are moving up here, but you guys really need to retreat to like a somewhat safer position. You need to turtle a little bit against someone coming through hotel, against their inevitable take of the point. This is kind of like the area you own now, and you kind of need to stay in it. If you venture out of this area, you more than likely will die.
And then also on that note, so like it's coming through, like, because junk is like hotel is really where Junkrat lives, right? You know that they're running one. Down one, you want to like retreat far back enough not to completely give them the point, but you're definitely not going to win this like all out brawl, right? Like they have straight up more damage than you do, and they also have more shield break. Like, so where you want to be is like, you want to hold this back corner, and ideally your Rhine is the one just like contesting this little corner over here, because then you can shield the team against the hotel spam. Ports can back out through this doorway if the team is getting pushed. And then when Cater comes back, she can take window. Again, because you'll have that like downwards that they're gonna have to back out when Cater gets back. So you need to buy her time to get back from spawn.
Like, as soon as Cater gets up here, she immediately lords over all of this. Like, this is Widow's domain now, and they need to back up, or they need to, like, turtle up and shield, or they will die.
Or Tracer tries to kill her again, which is probably
yeah,
realistically what would happen.
But, like, you're holding on defense here because you're already down one. Like, you're buying her time to get back up here. This is a little too far forward, and Freddy's also not quite being supported as well as he to be to really win this round 1v1, and so he's gonna lose. Not only is he gonna lose, Burger and Elysian both get anti-nated. Right, so if you guys had been standing further back, you're getting junk spammed, but like Zarya can deal with the junk spam.
In fact, Zarya would just gain charge and then kind of level out the amount of damage both teams are doing.
How low Tegs is? Orb is still on Burger, who's now anti-nated. Like, focus on where the damage is really coming from, and like Freddy is here still trying to win this front line when there's too much damage in the back line for anyone on the team to really help him with it. So he's gonna lose the point because now you're down a main source of damage, and you're also down your main tank, right?
Dead.
Tracer on your support. Tracer on support. I'm gonna die. Okay, I need to deal with that Tracer.
Alright. So before we started the scrim, I set you guys a goal to identify problems and adapt with solutions. So you guys come up with this plan that, alright, the tracer's a problem and we need to deal with the tracer. Let's watch this kill feed real quick. So outside of her getting Cater,
Watch behind.
Zarya, Rhine,
Tracer on your support. Tracer on support.
Junkrat, Rhine.
Did you deal with that tracer?
So the tracer did some poke back here, but who ended up doing most of the damage back here? Junkrat. And who did most of the damage up here on the front line?
Alright, I'm back, sorry.
There you go, friend.
Ryan and or Zarya?
Rhine and Zarya. Why is Tracer the problem?
I made that call because I grossly overestimated Tracer's impact there.
There you go. You grossly overestimated Tracer's impact in the fight. I mean, she got the initial pick, which is great. Cater died in a very stupid manner.
After you all use, let's use.
That's how you really kill.
Yeah, let's use Dragon, swap to Break, deal with this Tracer.
Backing up.
Tracer now, let's use on me.
So all this stuff kind of blends together a little bit, to be honest. I do want to point one thing out right here.
Why were you there?
Ooh, running away. Were you up on the high ground? You just swung through, like, inside?
I was retreating. What was it? I was so I had respawned, I believe, and then I was
You were, like, up here coming out.
running back, and then I'm like, oh wait, there's a tracer there, so I went through pub instead of going all the way back behind, and then I realized that, oh no, Ryan's behind me now. So
Yeah. I mean, like, worst case, the team is retreating anyway. You can afford to take the long path because you guys should be backing the fuck up anyway.
And also, like, even if you need to get back to your team really quickly, like, you're the main source of healing. Like, if guys, you can at least keep the rest of the team up, right? With Anna, Zen can't do that, especially against a Junkrat. So this is where like Bonnie at some point had said, like, the playing support is not dying. And like, I think most pro supports will say that, and that's generally true. And it's especially true when you're trying to regroup. Cause like once you die, this fight is over. Like this fight is over, point B is probably over.
Imagine if you died here, they literally get to push like almost all the way to the end of point B.
pretty much, yeah.
Like you can't take a fight here, you can't take a fight here, you definitely cannot take a fight here. Like you're literally probably taking a fight at the point. Like all that space you've conceded, they still have 5 fucking minutes. That's multiples amounts of fights, of which they need to win 1 at the point.
Back with reports.
Dragoning to split up the run.
I like this. You call the dragon to split up the Rhine, and it does exactly that. But it takes you guys forever to push in on him. Like you guys should probably be like thinking that. Like you should be thinking about dragon to push him up. You need to say, hey, I'm gonna dragon to split him up. The team needs to immediately go. Because all it takes for him is a press of shift and he's out. And you guys got no value.
And also going back to, so I know we talked about like going back to comp, right? Moon, if I'm you, know that they have a Junkrat and a Tracer. So even if they have a Grav, thing that they're gonna combo with that is gonna be Pulse Bomb or Tire. And Transcendence does like literally nothing against either of those. Right? So really the only thing that Transcendence even like in this comp is, but that's also only if you don't get shattered yourself, right? Or to save yourself from Tire if you can bait it, or Pulse Bomb if you get stuck. So, and also they also have an Anna, so an anti-nade would also like, so looking at their comp and thinking about your ult utility I would seriously be considering swapping to Lucio. Like, I probably would have swapped to Lucio as soon as we lost point A, if it was me. Because then that play that Tegs made, splitting the Rhine off into Hotel, you speed your entire team in there and he dies. Hit utility and like just also thinking through like what that means for your ultimates and what you want to be able to do with them is that I can't believe I'm saying this because this has not been the case for like, but Beat is a lot better against what they're running.
And I mean, just in the meta in general, looking at this comp in the meta in general, like, Zen is, like, pretty mediocre right now. Lucio is almost back to, like, the must-pick he was. But, I mean, that's meta.
Sorry, Junkrat back alleys. Watch
Jump
behind.
jump bar. Good shot.
My hand is low.
Yep.
I have nano.
I'm going up the window.
My phone a long time. I knew you had it.
Alright, so you guys called, going back to the whole, like, oh, Tracer's the issue thing, you called for Tegs to switch to Brig. Why is Tegs switching to Brig? Why are you giving up a Hanzo? Instead
or a second source, or a second source of damage in general. I guess the key question here, right, is like Brig does counter Tracer. That's true.
But
Brig's not the only Brig isn't the only thing that counters Tracer, right? And like looking at your comp right now, look at the comp that they're running and look at the comp that you're running. What's the issue that you're going to run into? And it becomes immediately evident, I think, the minute that you swap to Brig.
Yeah, their comp is very spammy. I mean, between anti-nade from Ana and Zen volleys and Junkrat spam and
Zarya.
net shield with spam, and I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do about it? You're gonna heal your way through it. You can sustain. Because your only real source of damage now is Cater on Widow, which basically means that as good as she is, she's basically gonna have to like almost every fight for you guys to be able to win this because you have no speed boost to engage on them with. You're walking into a ton of spam, so both your shields are gonna be gone by the time you get there.
This switch to Brig is basically putting the entire game in Cater's lap. And you say, carry us. You guys literally have no input in this game anymore. Only Cater does.
And also, Tegs is, I don't know how much you guys have played together, but a very, very strong DPS. So him making this switch, especially into a Junkrat, honestly is neuter your damage. If you really wanted to have a Brig for whatever reason, okay, two things here. So you have a Widow who's a ton of picks yet on this fight, right? She did great on attack. Same shots on attack. You switch out the Hanzo, Zarya. So you lose your combo there completely. Like, now you no longer have anything to go with Grav. Kept the Zen so far, and then I know Moon eventually swaps to Percy. But again, right, like, you kept the Zen for now, for, like, you're not gonna you're almost too transcendent, so it's like you might as well keep it just to, like, have it and engage in a fight with it and hope that you can win. But, like, do support heroes who are really bad against this like spammy kind of frontline the other team is running. And you have a Widow who can't really combo.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got
comp meant to function.
You actually ended up just switching already. You didn't even get trance.
Okay, it's okay.
You didn't get trance, you don't have speed, and now Tegs is stuck on Brig, babysitting the backline for Tracer on her first pulse bomb, by the way. This is her first pulse bomb.
Go, go, go. Touch it.
Bubble
Big,
fight, Freddy.
Unfortunate.
Bubble down.
Back
Oh,
up,
yeah.
get down, get down.
Back up, back up, back up, back up. Lost that fight. Handily.
Alright, 90 end grab. We'll have it for a fight here.
Group. I fell into that.
That's an
sloppy.
oof.
I'm not doing well. Oh, never mind.
Me.
And we're not gonna say that we're gonna watch this out because this is about to be over.
Nice,
Hey,
nice,
we
nice.
wanna go back up.
Alright, push in, push
Bubble in
in.
one.
Watch the Tracer. Tracer behind.
Bubble you, Freddy.
Tracer to the right. Tracer on payload.
Alright, grab it. I have grab.
Watch like here.
Also, we've kept you guys for 2 hours. We might as well wrap this up. So we'll just watch the end of
Run
this.
slow, run slow.
There's not
That
too
went
much.
longer. That went longer than expected. Alright, so now Tegs is babysitting the cart because Tracer's still back here. He can't fight on front line because he's supposed to be dealing with the Tracer. But she's too fast for him to catch
Grab
her.
here.
Tracer gonna be caught. Squat.
Fuck, their Hanzo got me. Their Tracer's one hit. Hanzo up left.
I'm stunned.
Flare left.
Alright, push that.
Do I grab here? Do I grab?
Run in, run. Yes, grab, grab, grab.
I got wrecked. Oh, I got a lot.
Why did I call for grab? Looking back on it, that was so dumb.
I was.
Well, that's pretty much all you had at that point. Like, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You know?
Stun mace.
I mean, it was the end of the game.
It's not entirely-
Win if you were able to grab them off the point or over the hole, but like
Wasn't much. For
where your ults are by the time that this game ends, right? So you wanted to go Brig for the Tracer.
Actually, let's back up
She
so
was
we have
dealing
your
with-
proper comp. Yeah.
So because you have 3 healers, none of you have gotten to your ults, right? For this entire fight now, that's been like maybe 30 seconds to a minute. Been running around chasing this Tracer that he can't catch because he's slow in comparison. Will get rally. You have nothing for grab. You really.
I mean,
Your
not,
own
not
grab
to
is-
not to draw like on and on about like you guys are very ill prepared for this situation in general, and like this goes back to identifying the incorrect problem and bringing a solution that doesn't match up well with what the other team is like, what the rest of their team is doing. Like, all right, we brought a Brig for this Tracer, but does Brig actually deal with like anything else on their team? You know, like. Think about like what if you played McCree instead? Because McCree has flashbang. He hangs out in the back a little bit. He needs to be much more safe anyway. If the Tracer comes in, he
or
just
otherwise.
pocket sands, you know.
Otherwise, maybe Cater goes McCree, maybe Tegs goes on Junk, or maybe you take this Mercy switch and Tegs goes on Pharah and just shits all over their team. Like, who's gonna deal with the Pharah on their team? No one.
You've given up more with the Brig than you've gained from it, you know. That's
think-
what we want to stress at the end of the day. You gave up a lot.
So again, going back to the comp, right? Like, it's like, think about, like, definitely practice stuff that you want to. At the same time, I would say that for the next set of scrims next week, I want you guys to make it a point to, like, I'm going to post the map picks ahead of time if I can. Really think about the comps that you run, right? Because you have 6 people. You're all playing one hero. Think about the advantages and disadvantages that it brings to the table on each map, whether there's high ground, whether it's open. You know, if you want to run goats, if you want to run triple tank or triple support, have a reason for it. Needs to happen. Like, if you're running triple support, that means your damage is going to be lower. What do you need to do to compensate for that? There's like a lot of aspects of it, right? So if it's something that you guys want to think through, if you have ideas and you want to discuss, like, perhaps, like, I can talk comps all day. Cool Pup knows this.
More than willing to talk comps all day. If you guys like want to like just have a separate like group chat
Wanna
and like
brainstorm?
brainstorm about it, she's more than willing to.
Day 2, I love weird shit. Like,
We'll come up with like cheesy or like weird strats. Like we'll hear ideas and we'll think about them. Like you want to like fucking take a Mei and like jump over a ceiling to engage on someone, we're totally down for that. We love that shit, you know?
Craft meta.
Yeah.
make
Go.
sure that whatever heroes you're picking have a purpose, they work well together, and that you're not helps to something that's not helping you win.
And then one last thing before we let you go. Most of you have filled out the hero pool
That's what I
sheet.
was gonna do.
Yes. There are some concerns here, especially within what roles you guys are working in. I would like to stress that when I've asked you guys to sign up, I asked you, if I give you a role and a projected hero pool, are you willing to grind those heroes? Hopefully all of you said yes. There are some very concerning numbers in relation to your role. I would like for you to look at a hero that you don't have a 1 in that's within your hero pool, and I want you to work on it.
This upcoming, well, I mean, you know, obviously beyond just this week, but
Yeah. Freddie, I'm going to call you out because
a bit of homework.
a bit of
for you
homework. You're a main tank. The only main tank you're a 1 comfortable in is Orisa.
That's the truth.
That is the truth.
I can tell you before having to pick Ryan a lot in the QPs and before doing this team and being the main tank, my Ryan's probably somewhere in a 4. So I feel like I've improved slightly.
Cool. Can you improve it to a 1 potentially?
I will try to improve it to a 1, but that's my honest assessment of myself. I don't feel like I'm there yet, and I feel like I can get better. That's me telling you to say, hey, teacher, help me get better.
Cool. I would like for you, like when we do these QP sessions, I know you like playing Doomfist, that's perfectly fine. Take the initiative, play main tank more.
I will.
For you, Moon, because I'm kind of interested in how this is gonna work. You have Anna at a 3. I feel like our support line with 3 of you rotating is gonna be a lot more fluid than just a rigid roles. You are very strong mechanically. I would really like for you to try to pick up Anna and maybe play around with her a little bit, because you can do a lot of healing. You're pretty close to being able to solo heal on Anna if you're really good mechanically, and I think you're pretty close to that. Play around with Anna a little bit, you know.
And also, the other thing is, I know you're generally pretty comfortable on Zen. Anna's not completely identical to Zen, but her positioning is a lot more
Similar.
than Zenyatta's. But at the same time, she kind of plays like the same in sight lengths. So I think your DPS background and mechanics on Zen will actually help you a lot in terms of getting to like a good place with Anna. So I think give her a shot. Just kind of try to insta-lock her and one-trick her a little bit, and just kind of see where it gets you.
And I mean, we don't have set examples for all of you. I'm just kind of looking through the list right now. But yeah, just like maybe for Elysian, for example, you can work on Brigitte and Zen a little bit. Probably more Zen, just in case. Like I said, the support line might be a little bit more fluid than expected. Same with you, Dragon. I know you kind of sit on Mercy and Moira a lot. You say you have Lucio to 1. So I'm gonna trust you that your Lucio is pretty up there, but like maybe a little bit of Brigitte.
I'm working on Brigitte and Anna right now.
Awesome. Cool.
That's your homework for the week.
Pick a hero you're not a 1 at, and I want you to take some time to grind it a little bit. Try to get as close, if not a 1, maybe like a 1.5, 1.6, 1.7. Let's get closer to 1 than we are to 2, you know?
You mean in your
Also-
designated role?
Yeah.
Yes.
Within your designated role.
Teammate. be a bad teammate and insta luck. And ideally, I'd say if you guys want to work on it, go together.
Yeah. If you guys ever
how
find the
everyone
time to
plays.
like 4, 5, 6 stack to like let you play your roles and talk a little bit, that's cool. I think your communication, it doesn't need to be worked on quite yet because it's pretty alright. We kind of called you out on the bits and pieces that we thought were questionable in terms of your calling, but that was literally like, we have less complaints about that than like everything else. But homework for the week before the next scrim.
On that note, honestly, comms being as strong and clear as they are, like even if we don't necessarily agree with all of your calls, like the fact that you guys have like slightest bit of the foundation is nothing to sneeze at. Like there are teams in that communicate less well. Like
fuck.
Like we're not bringing that up.
Even our own teams don't like communicate as well as you guys sometimes, you know.
Yeah, I fill in for like a 3.3k team, and their comms are like shit compared to what we did Friday. So
you guys are pretty far ahead of where like a lot of teams would be, like even a month, 2 months, 3 months in. Like Freddie and Cater, when you listen to this, you remember old Empty West. Our comms were fucking terrible, and we were a team for nearly like 4 months, and we never got that.
So like, don't. That is like a oh shit, we have so much stuff to work on. Like honestly, the things that you guys on are easier to pick up. Comms is extremely difficult to have in place. So to like already have a good foundation with it is like foundation that I think you guys, you know, obviously will be able to build on and like it making a difference in the long run for sure. Like in the near future, like not even long term, but like you're going to notice that it's going to make a difference once you guys start picking up some of the other things. So, you know, definitely take it as like a something to look forward to and don't stress too much. You know, one trick a little bit for the week.
And if you have any questions about any specific heroes, we have plenty of friends, not only within ourselves, but we have plenty of people that are not on the server right now that we know play those heroes extensively. We can find you a resource for any hero to ask as many questions as you want. We will find that stuff for you.
Just let us know what you guys want to work on, and we will get there.
Yep. For Cater, I know you're listening, and I'm probably going to message this to you too. Work on your McCree and your Tracer. I know you've already kind of worked on them. Work on them a little bit more. And then on Widow, I want you to work on awareness, especially with flankers, because you'll take positioning that is very easy to access, and you just straight up die every single time. You're like a Widow on the cart, you're a Widow on the ground, you're a Widow next to some stairs, and you just straight up die because you're not aware someone is coming after you. You need to work on not tunneling on whatever you're shooting at, and you need to learn to be aware of when someone's coming after you.
An additional challenge on Widow. I think I told Tex this before too when he asked, but if you're gonna practice Widow, try to take no more than 3 shots from one position.
Yep. If you're in a position, you guys win a fight, reposition yourselves, attack from a new angle.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. Watch some streamers. There's a guy I really like to watch. His name is Beef Tipsy. He's like a 4.1, 4.2k Widow main. He's not the greatest. He's actually really shit mechanically, but he's a grandmaster because he knows when to reposition. He knows how to take smart fights. He literally body shots all the time. He doesn't hit many headshots, but he knows how to position, when to go up, when to go back, and he stays alive. If you can, possibly watch like a VOD of his on Twitch or something like that. Just look into him a little bit. He's a good resource, especially for like people that have the mechanics, but they just need to work on like Widow game sense a little bit. That is literally the only reason he's a grandmaster. It's certainly not because of his mechanics.
Yeah, so I think the rest of you pick a hero if you have questions or if you want someone to talk to you about it, let us know. We're happy to suggest streamers or pros and also personal friends if we know anyone that plays. But yeah, so that is your homework for the week. And yes, next scrim will also be at Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern. Same time every week is the goal. If it changes, I will let you know.
Awesome.
Awesome. I know we dumped like a whole lot of shit on you. This has been like approximately like 2.5 hours. Do you guys have any questions, comments, and concerns? Did you guys at least somewhat enjoy being ripped to shreds live on television?
You know what? My asshole's not as raw as I thought it would be.
Cool.
Hopefully that was helpful, though. If you have any feedback for us, let us know. I know this definitely went on longer, I think, than we had expected or really anticipated. But definitely, if there's anything that you feel like we can cut down on or do more of, let us know. We're happy to make changes. Today, we just want this to be helpful for all of you and that you're getting information that, A, that you need, and B, that is like actually useful for you. And
Yeah. And I mean, like, we can sit here and like nitpick at like what you did wrong. We like to go into it though because we kind of want you to understand a bit more. Like, oh, you like positioned here and you die, and it's like, no, we need to like go in the build up, which is why like this shit kind of takes forever. And like especially at the beginning of this VOD review, something I stressed in kind of the overarching theme was like the support line and the tank line not only being in sync with them, but then the tanks being in sync with each other, the supports being in sync with each other. Freddy kind of gets out a little bit too far. No one goes to support him. Freddy just gets mowed over in the Rhine 1v1. You guys need to learn to give Freddy resources, and then Freddy, you need to learn to be aware of the resources you are given and position yourself accordingly. Capiche?
Aye. I got one message for you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cute.
No, I knew you'd like it because you're a Chappelle fan.
I do, actually.
I'm actually gonna get on for some Overwatch for the next hour and a half if anybody wants to do that.
Cool.
I'm gonna get a drink though, and I'm gonna leave this call's way.
Alright.
Good night.
Yeah.
Y'all.
Take your drinks.
Later, man.
Again, happy birthday, Burger. This is our gift to you to rip you to shreds.
Coming, guys. So hopefully it was useful. As I said, let us know if you want us to do anything differently other than obviously cut it down a little bit. And hopefully as we continue on, we'll just like have less stuff to talk about too. So it'll work out.
Alright.
Yeah.
All right.
Real quick, I've been watching a lot of Fozix's streams and VODs lately, but do you have any other flex support, like mainly Zenyatta and Ana, streamers, etc., that I could probably learn from?
Anything in particular that you want to learn?
Mostly sort of with Zenyatta, like Discord priority. I went to focus more on damage and I guess just kind of overall mechanics and tips and tricks, just because I haven't played him a lot. But
I would say for Zen, it's kind of tough right now because Zen's not like.
You're not gonna see Grandmasters playing a lot of Zen right now on stream.
It's gonna be a lot of Ana Lucio. For Ana, I actually personally I actually really like ML7. He's posted a couple of VODs on YouTube where he like talks about his thought processes, and like I know Kabaji is like an educational streamer and I know they're friends, but I actually found some of ML7's explanations for stuff, he positions the way that he does, like a lot more useful. Give that a shot. And then DSO, I don't know if you have anyone else, but I think for Ana, like I catch Ru Jae-hong when he actually plays Ana just because it's like always a masterclass.
If anything, like with Ru Jae-hong, you're not gonna get like his thought process, but you can be amazed at the capabilities of Ana. I think it's something to like get inspired by, if anything. Like
definitely, just watching you on World Cup and stuff, it's great.
Yeah.
Also, I think too, like the reason that I, even though obviously I don't speak Korean, but like I still like watching Ru Jae-hong is also because like those like the clips of like Architect just body blocking Diva Bomb with like personal bubble shit like that. Like there's so many there's so many micro plays hero that actually just makes such a big difference, and it's like the difference between winning and losing fights, you know? And so getting into a mindset of like, here's the shit that I can do with this character. How do I position myself so that I'm able to take advantage of it? So you grind your mechanics so that you can hit those shots. But I mean, I don't know. I just like, to me, like the micro stuff is like the really cool
That's
stuff.
like, yeah,
'Cause
that's
those are
like,
the things that
sorry, that's down to like being aware of what your kid is capable of and
really, really maximizing it.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll post some stuff for you. And
yeah. Actually, Cater, I lied to you. I don't want you to work on your tracer. I want you to work on your Sombra, and I'm gonna have a YouTube video for you to watch. Cool.
So, is there like any heroes you think I should be working on? Like Mei, I would think is the only like. I don't know. She's not even really meta right now.
She's not, but she has niche use, and like if you come up with any like strats that you can take advantage of her with. One thing, I know you put a 1 for Zarya. I'm not a big fan of your bubble usage. We have a thing about like there's some, I don't know if it's a video or like a Reddit thread about it, but about like Zarya bubble usage. If anything, I want you to like watch that and like gain some appreciation for bubble. But like watching like your freaking Pharah was great, your Genji was great.
my DPS in general are pretty good. I would say if you guys ever run something like Mei Reaper, just I know Cater has like a Mei, so you know maybe you run Reaper in that situation. I think you guys can discuss with each other and be a little flexible. I think I don't know.
What I can suggest, because there were a couple times I didn't say it during the match, but I was going to suggest to you to go with Doomfist and help peel with the flankers that are trying to gank the supports. You do peel with Doomfist already, right? Or do you do that or not? 'Cause if not, I would say to practice more.
Pretty good at peeling.
He's alright at peeling, but really like Doomfist's most value is like jumping in, either trading or going 2 for 1, and then
ganking their supports.
Yeah, you're a better ganker than you are a peeler.
Yeah. Like if I see like a flanker's a problem, I'll try to hang back a bit. But yeah, I definitely feel like I get more value. Like if I can go and get 2 picks and either feed or get out.
Yep. Alright, cool. That's all we really got. Finally.
And then
We said we would wrap it up, and it took us literally like fucking 10 minutes to wrap this shit up.
Okay, bye!
A couple of us are going to be on, per usual. Feel free to join if you're still up for it, and if not, have a very good night.
Alright. Later, guys.
Later.
Guys.